Since the COVID-19 pandemic began, we have seen a change in how and where people travel. Early lockdowns showed what the streets could look like without traffic, spaces for walking and cycling, play, and outdoor gatherings. Nevertheless, fewer cars on the road also prompted reckless driving and speeding, which caused havoc on many streets. Pedestrian deaths were significantly higher in 2021 and 2020 than past years. Many cities developed permanent temporary cycling infrastructure during the pandemic, which has resulted in large increases in cycling as well as additional commitments to improve cycle lane networks. We must galvanize the momentum around cycling since 2020 and shift temporary measures to permanent ones as we begin 2022. 1 second here. I'm Gary. I love cycling and follow the sport and the pleasure of the sport. I also share what I have learned on my own and from others about this way of life. That's right. Cycling is a way of life when you really get into exercise and the healthy advantages of cycling. So if this video interests you, please subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post my next video. Okay, on with the video. The third year of the pandemic. By designing and building cities to work better for cyclists and pedestrians instead of cars, we not only reduce harmful emissions that contribute to climate change, but we also prioritize our most resilient and adaptable forms of transportation. Developing more connected and protected bicycle lanes is a critical part of the puzzle, but another, more challenging part must be addressed, changing the narrative about who uses bicycles and for what purpose. Young, wealthy, and physically fit men don't have to ride bicycles. Young, able-bodied men tend to make up the majority of cyclists in most cities because this group tends to be the largest share in recreational cycling. Assuming that all cyclists are young, middle to high income, fit men overlooks the fact that women, older adults, and families with children use bicycles too. They would actually use bicycles more often if safer. Calmer spaces were available for riding, and more types of bicycles were more affordable and easier to access. Cities will be better able to adapt to a diverse range of cyclists by designing for all groups and their specific needs. Recreational bicycling is not the only use for bicycles, despite the fact that bicycles, and often, bike-share systems provide opportunities for outdoor recreation. They should not be simply viewed and planned as recreational devices. In addition to personal transportation, bicycles have been used for decades by informal street vendors and are increasingly used for local commercial deliveries. Increasing demand for e-commerce presents logistical challenges for delivery companies. That's why large corporations like FedEx and DHL are employing e-cargo bikes for delivering goods from local warehouses to final destinations, reducing traffic congestion and greenhouse gas emissions. When roads were blocked by debris and power was out after the 2017 earthquake in Mexico City, people turned to bicycles to make essential trips and distribute supplies to support the recovery. During the COVID-19 pandemic, grassroots networks in Gugulethu, South Africa, Semarang, Indonesia, several Indian cities, Mexico City, and New York City, among others, used bicycles to deliver medicine, groceries, meals, and other supplies to vulnerable populations. These bicycle-driven relief efforts could reach more people if more safe cycle lanes were available. Short trips are not the only thing that bicycles can do. In addition, bicycles contribute to the sustainability of the entire transport network by filling in the gaps between modes. Bike paths are often used as first and last mile links, or as an alternative to walking long distances between transit modes. As an example, in Jakarta, Indonesia, cycle lanes enable a 15-minute bicycle trip to the Harmony BRT station, making it accessible to 400% more people than those within a 15-minute walk. More people will use public transportation when it's easier and more reliable. Cycling is an accessible mode of transportation near and around Harmony BRT station in Jakarta, Indonesia. Understanding that many different types of people use bicycles for many purposes is important. But how can cities actually start to shift perceptions around cycling? Here are 4 quick to implement, cost-effective actions. Car-free days have been successful in cities like Kigali and Jakarta at encouraging people of all ages and abilities to cycle in a relaxed, safe environment. It increases access to bikes for people who do not own their own and accelerates demand for more and safer spaces on the street to ride. Bike share users tend to cycle more often, and bike share use may serve as a catalyst for obtaining a personal bicycle. There are even bike share operators that offer delivery workers different rental options. Cycling networks in cities like Seville, Bogota, and Buenos Aires change the everyday experience of cycling and shift the priority from motor vehicles. When low-cost, movable materials are used initially, there is flexibility for adaptation and adjustment if data and feedback indicate issues. Pop-up cycle lanes that connect to transit hubs can encourage more people to consider alternatives to driving on longer trips. Social marketing raises awareness about cycle projects and initiatives as well as their impact on people's lives. Taking part in regional or global campaigns like India's Cyclists for Change Challenge or ITDP's Cycling Cities, which promote cycling conditions as a way to combat societal challenges like air pollution or climate change, can help build momentum for longer-term behavior change. So as this change begins, we all can benefit by cycling more and enjoying the great outdoors while saving the planet and ourselves. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.